sure I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with former world champion George Groves. George, big fight week. Eubank against Liam Smith. What's your thoughts?
Yes, it is a big fight week, and it's exciting. We've got one in January. You don't always get blessed with this, you know. So, nice and exciting. It has split the sort of the pundits and the viewers and the crowd and the people a little bit. And you know, when the fight was first made, I was like, well, okay, I think Eubank's a favourite, but you could have picked an easier opposition than Liam Smith. He's coming up from light middle up to middle, but he's a wily old pro. He's been there, he's done it. You know, he's former world champion. Good fighter, really good fighter. So. No, it's an interesting fight for me. I think Eubank's a favourite, and if both guys sharpen the best of their ability, I think Eubank beats him. He's too big, but he's going to have the desire. He's going to have the engine. He's going to have to be the best Eubank, I feel, to probably be what will likely be one of the best versions of Smith, because he knows it's a big fight. This is his time. This is his time. It's pay-per-view.
If anyone knows Chris Eubank better than most, it is you, because you have shared the ring with them. What does he bring to the ring then, Chris Eubank, that Liam needs to be careful of?
Well, so there's been phases of Eubank's career that from an outsider's point of view, where you're observing it, you go, right, he lost to Billy Joe Saunders on a split decision. You know, he could have lost the first half of the fight, won the second half of the fight, and if he put his foot on the gas a little bit earlier, he would have won that fight. And I feel like that was a massive wake-up call for him. And then since then, he left no stone unturned. He was, you know, it was all about energy, work rate, you know, desire, you know, stamina and stuff like that. And he took that right the way through until he boxed me. And he was a handful. You had to be wary of his punch output. Like he's physically a strong guy. You know, he's I mean, it's in a positive term. He's an animal. He's an animal. He used to bring him in for sparring all the time, and he'd be sparring with me, Dick Gale. He'd be sparring with Frotch. Like, this was all when he was a middleweight before he moved up. So once he moved up to middleweight, he was a favourite going into our fight. You know, people really got behind him. He was happy. He was talking the talk, but he was willing to step into range, punch from the hips if need be, gunsling, uppercuts, left hooks. He was dangerous. You had to respect that. So you had to box him first, put him in his place, and then walk him with shots. Since then, he started working with Roy Jones, and he's tried to become a bit more of a well-rounded fighter, which I think all fighters should do and should push towards. And he's been, you know, accused of getting caught between styles at times and not really gelled and flowed. And it's tough. I get where people come from with that. But if I was Eubank Jr. now at this stage of his career, I would settle back on what naturally has always worked for him and look to make this a dogfight with Liam Smith. Just stick it on him and push him and use your natural size. I think he probably punches just as fast as him, if not faster. Likely punches harder. He's probably definitely stronger. He's got a great engine when he wants to use it. He's got good chin. He took big shots off big guys. So that's the sort of fight he wants to make it. And Smith will always try and box off the front foot, but keep it a little bit more his fight, where, you know, it's not erratic. There'll be a lot more discipline involved. But he'll want to finish the exchanges to show that he's in control of the fight. You'll have to retain a high work rate, and he'll have to, you know, I don't know, maybe try and hurt Eubank downstairs. If Eubank's tight at the weight as well, he talks about weight a lot now. So whether that's just something that just something for him to talk about, or whether it is on his mind, or whether he wants the guy he's fighting to think that that's on his mind. But yeah, he spent a significant time at super, and now he's back down at middle. That might be paying his toll.
The winner obviously goes on to bigger and better things. I mean, their careers are similar. They're mid-30s now, 33, 34, 30 plus fights. The winner obviously goes on, maybe another pay-per-view fight, world title fight, whatever. Can the loser come back?
Yeah, well, I think so. I never like to answer that question. It's all down to the individual. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they want to do. Eubank's got an incredible profile. You know, he's a pay-per-view fighter with the right opponent, and this Liam can't say the same at the moment, but if he puts in a really good performance on fight night, then he pushed his his picture, pushed his name into that picture. So either or, it depends how much desire each have got. We see how they both seem reasonably fresh. They don't seem like this is a last chance saloon. So but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
A wee bit of a fun question. I've seen you've got a podcast. How's that going for you? But do you ever have itchy knuckles? Do you ever fancy throwing a punch again now that you've got the podcast?
No, not yet. You never say never, but right now, no. Podcast is going great, and that scratches that itch. I get to talk to all the fighters out there and everyone in boxing. So we try and get a variety of different people in, one a week, and just have a little deep dive on what's going on. So yeah, GROVES Boxing Club is flying, and that scratches that itch for me in terms of boxing. No itchy knuckles for me.
No, good stuff. Well, I heard you do an interview before me and that, and I couldn't quite hear because the music was loud, but you were talking about Carl Froch and all this sort of stuff. I know you were doing a little tour with Carl Froch. I mean, how good of friends are you? Are you the best friends that we see on camera, or is there still some needle there?
I don't know. There's no needle. I hope there's no needle. No, we've done 2 tours now, so we see when we're on tour, we're seeing each other like every week, sometimes twice a week. And Carl's cool. Like, I like Carl. Once we can both let our guard down, it turns out we've got a lot in common, and we do get on. Carl's being shipped in tomorrow night for the fight as well. I'm up here for the fight, so we'll be working together. So it's good, man. I like Carl. Carl's all cool. But the joke was that, I think it's our 10-year anniversary this year from the first fight, and I've seen him in the gym this week on his Instagram. So it's like, if he's thinking, if he wants an anniversary, then I'll need, let me know as well. Don't spring on me last minute. So, but yeah, that's a joke anyway. But no, me and Cole, I think we're good friends. Yeah.
Good. One final one then. Obviously, tomorrow night's the big fight, Eubank and Smith. What can the fans expect, man? You've shared the ring with Chris Eubank. You know the Smith brothers very, very well as well. So what can we expect tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be a real difficult fight, to predict before the first bell goes. I make Eubank favourite. I think Eubank wins, but I think if he comes out and he doesn't, get straight to it from the first round and loses a few rounds, Smith gets into a rhythm. He might be very difficult for him to turn that around. That might make it the best fan favourite fight you could possibly get. Is if Eubank drops a few rounds to start with, then he has to go to the well. He has to go and have it with him. Revert to his natural type, and then we're in for a barnstormer. There's a lot of fight still, it appears, in Liam Smith. Liam Smith wants to have a fight. I'm sure he'll sit in the trenches and dig and punch away in the pocket if need be. But if that does happen, I sort of make Eubank a favourite. But we're in for a good fight.
Definitely, I agree. George, as always, thank you so much, mate, and speak to you the next time. Thank you, mate.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife and saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.